final set,
I deafened somebody. Somebody deafened.
The fuck's happening?
and they're already in. Again, we're seeing King's Pawn, E4,
Hmm.
E5.
Wait, did Aaron lose yesterday?
This is
Yeah.
the last
Did.
game, I think.
Blue's going for an Evans gambit again. Oh, bishop here. You never really want to put your bishop in front of the pawn because now this
Yeah.
pawn, you really want to put your bishop on E7 here because now this pawn will never be able to push forward and try and control center.
Yo, what a fucking idiot.
Right, D2 is possible here. Delu can also castle. And also, now that this pawn is trapped, the only way you'll be able to develop this bishop is through a fianchetto. Otherwise, you're going to have to waste a move and move it to E7 when you could have done that in one move. We saw Delu play the Evans Gambit yesterday, and he had a trick right off the bat with Aaron putting his knight on H6, and after Delu's bishop captures, he decided not to capture back out of fear of double pawning and not being able to castle kingside, and that ended up costing him the game in the end. However, it looks like we're going to see a much more even variation from both sides. Delu's playing aggressive here. He wants to try and push the pawn and take as much space as possible. However, aggression does not go without consequences, because when you push a pawn forward, it can never be moved back. Meaning the squares that the pawn was currently contesting are now vulnerable. For example, if you can get a knight here, there's nothing that can stop it because the pawn that was here is now pushed forward. And this just becomes a really great outpost for the knight. A lot of training was done in the center here. And eval bar is heavily favoring black here. I don't think that was maybe he wants to fianchetto. The issue with fianchettoing the bishop now is that it's still trapped, right? It's not really doing much yet. You have to break open these two pawns, which are pretty heavily fortified as of the current moment. I believe takes. And now there's a double attack, or two pieces attacking this pawn. Maybe bishop will take here. Well, bishop can't take quite yet, because knight's guarding. One thing Aaron could have done is move his knight to g6 with the intention of bringing it to f4. And with the pawn defending, oh, okay. I believe there might be some tricks here.
That's an eval bar move.
Queen trade, but I think there's a discovery first. Okay. Definitely still scary for both sides. I don't know what the move is quite for the best discovery. Potentially maybe here. Just wins the bishop, I believe. Okay, he decides to go for that. I think there could have been checks, and yeah, that just loses the bishop. Gets a great fork by the Lu. Oh, Lu's playing great chess now. There's simple tactics here with the idea of fork onto both knights. And yeah, that's it. Aaron resigns.
Okay, man.
Lu wins first match.
Dang.
Pretty
Smurf?
convincingly.
Smurfed?
Well played by both players.
meant
Dude,
to
Aaron,
I literally just can't play chess anymore. I don't know what to say.
Aaron, you
I fucking inted
Aaron reverse
so
smurfed it.
hard every time. I don't know why.
He's playing on tilt.
Unfortunate.
dumbass idiot.
I'm not even
Looks
told
like
I'm
we're
just
going-
an idiot.
We're going right into another King's Pawn opening. I don't think we're going to be able to, or we're going to see any Queen's
Wait,
Pawn today.
what is
It
this
looks like we're going to
fuckery?
be repeating the same opening. I have a feeling Delu is going to continue
Oh,
recycling
yeah.
the Evans Gambit,
That's really
and
weird.
it looks like Aaron will continue recycling the Giacomo Piano opening. I actually don't know how to pronounce Italian. Pianissimo variation is when you play d3 instead of knight b3 immediately. Castles from both sides, and we're getting to a very easy game. Easy opening. Okay, so Delu decides to go for this. And, well, it does give him a little bit of a... Okay, he says go for a queen. It does give him a somewhat of an outpost. This knight could be really easily removed. Simple moves like bishop e3 first, maybe even drop the knight back, and then you just lose the outpost and some tempo.
Oh, that's a losing move, apparently.
I think Delu gets some counterplay in the center. If the center is broken, I think Delu gets the advantage because his rook is going to be closer to developing than, say, Aaron's, because he's hidden behind 2, while this rook behind here will probably be gone if bishop takes. Now he wants to trade bishops. And a lot of trading going down in the center. Both bishops are now off the board. It's becoming a knight, 2 rooks, a queen endgame. Aaron is going into this a pawn up, but is also in a double pawn position. So this pawn is especially weakened, and we can't really see how this might be played in the future. Aaron does have a lot of potential aggression on this king side over here. Will he see to move these pieces up? He can start swinging his rooks over as well. And yeah, there's a lot of potential pressure coming in. Delu can try and break open the queen side, but even though this pawn is a double pawn, it's doing a good job of guarding crucial opening squares to attack the queen side for white. It's just much more intuitive on what to do for Aaron as well. All he needs to do is push. If Delu pushes, there might be some issues. Aaron's playing a little bit conservatively. I think g4 would have definitely been playable. And then after maybe the rooks on the f and g files, then start pushing these pawns even more. But he wants to play conservatively. That's totally fine. Pawn takes. I think loses the queen and the knight. Rook takes. I think you can also take with rook, and if pawn takes back, you still win the knight. So I think the best option here is to drop the knight back, defending the pawn temporarily. Apparently was not. What is there here? Takes? Oh. Will Aaron see the tactic here? Rook takes e8. Yes, he sees it, and that actually is just winning for him now. After all the trades are done, it will be a rook knight versus a rook endgame. The correct move for Delu here isn't to trade. He needs to keep his queen on the board in order to make it as difficult as possible to win this endgame. Or at least to stall out this endgame and potentially find a counterattack. Let's see if Aaron can keep up this advantage that he has found. Maybe potentially develop the knight here. That's a great move by Aaron, potentially either forcing the trade of queens or threatening the rook at the same time with check. There are potential checks for Delu if he needs to run a tempo. However, after king b1, it's pretty much the king is pretty much safe. G5 checks the king and also captures the G2 pawn. This pawn is hanging. Maybe there's some counterplay here. If Aaron makes a mistake, there is definitely some room for error. I think taking b7 is possible, but I'm pretty sure he's hesitating because it leaves the rook only defended by the knight, and if the king is checked and forced to move to b1, then it could get a little sketchy. So he decides to play the safe route and goes knight e4. I think this is possible. Maybe there's some counterplay that I'm totally missing. But he kicks the knight away and just forces it to move back. Or maybe if he plays this, takes, check. No, it doesn't work. Okay, so Delu finds f5, trying to nullify the last move. Oh, what I missed is that the knight can still go to d6 because the queen's not being inherently threatened. And now you're getting the knight really involved. Queen's coming here. There are a bunch of forks if the king goes to h8, big blunder, forking both. I think queen here is, or actually no, he has to save the rook as well. So rook f8 is the only option in order to save the rook and defend the f7 square at the same time. Either that or he has to go tempo first and then do it. I think queen c8 with check. If king h7, I think that forces trade of queens after checking and attacking the queen. After takes, queens are off the board, and now it's gonna be really, really hard. Okay, so you guys decides to go for the take first. I think there might have been some checks that force the king to h7 and force the queen trade. This queen is not forced to trade here. Rook b1, or I mean king b1, rook d2. I'm pretty sure It doesn't quite lose, but it's very sketchy. And now you're gonna have to deal with this annoying queen who's gonna try and stall out this game as much as possible. If he had gone with the combination, he just would have traded and now puts the knight back onto e4. The knight can no longer be attacked. There are no pawns on the adjacent squares or adjacent files to the e file. So this knight is essentially untouchable. And then you move the rook around and try to gobble up as many pawns as possible. Unfortunately, now the queens are still on the board, so there is still enough firepower for Delu to just stall this game out. However, he is running low on time. There's 30 seconds left on the clock for him. This is an increment game, so every move they make, they will get time back. It's a very interesting move by Delu. It's very
Hello?
ballsy. It's not a blunder. If rook takes queen,
Oh, I see.
goes e1 with checkmate after rook comes down.
That is so spicy.
This is definitionally a Hail Mary.
I think best move is to retreat queen back to
Feels bad.
d3, defends, and also defends here. Issue is that this knight becomes pinned, but it's not too much of an issue when you play c5, locking the knight, and even if you have something like b6, you play b4, and it strengthens the pawn structure. Again, Delu cannot trade here. If he trades queens, this is essentially losing after the c pawn takes. Might be some checks. You can either drop it back. Okay, rook takes, and queen goes here. Oh wait. Rook. What happens if rook takes? Queen goes here. Check. Holy.
Whoa.
Wait. Apparently this was winning for black. What was the move? Huh. There was something really good there for him. I think after rook takes and then queen here,
You just lose the rook.
you just lose the rook. So what is the move in this position that draws the game? Well, we'll come back to it. Let's continue with the action.
Oh, maybe he was forcing the queen trade wouldn't be it. On the pawn.
Very interesting move.
Nah.
Aaron's playing a solid endgame. He just needs to keep this up, and he knows that. He doesn't need to play antsy here.
He's ahead on time, too.
He might be trying to flag Delu down as well.
Daniel is a stupid cringe lord.
Well, he's also a stupid fucking...
Check.
Oh shit.
Rook comes in, and this is incoming.
Yeah,
mate.
he just brings his rook in.
Daniel is a smart cringe lord.
No. Okay, he could bring his rook in the other way. The issue is like rook takes and then pawn takes. It's still kind of unlikely. There's still a forced mate in 3. Check. Rook blocks. Check. There. Oh, and that's mate in 1. Okay, very nice game. We're up to 1-1.
All right, review that move. What was the move?
I actually don't know. What it was this one right here, where Delu, and now Delu forces a tie somehow. I don't think it's. We'll go to analysis. I don't think it's rook takes because then you lose the rook.
Wait, is this best of 5 or best of 3?
It's best of 5.
Best of 4.
Oh, best
Oh,
of
is
4.
it best of 4
Best
or
of 4 question mark? This ain't no like League of Legends competitive.
Yeah, it looks like it's rook
Best of
takes
2.
e6. What happens after this? King f7. Oh, and just defends the rook, right?
Ah.
And
That
oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
now this is a drawn position.
Oh, I didn't see that. I
Yeah.
literally didn't see
Bro,
that.
bro,
Feels bad.
best of 26.
That
Is it
makes a lot
best
of
of
sense,
4 then?
actually. Okay, run it again.
Right.
Best of 0.5.
Game 3?
Game 3 is already on the board, and again, we're going into
Oh,
a
Daniel, can you
King's
read it
Pawn
again?
opening. I'm surprised no one has tried to play Sicilian against this King's Pawn.
Or
Sicilian
can you
is
read it
the
again?
most popular Grandmaster opening against the King's Pawn. Here, there is a little bit of complication, and the reason why white is winning, if I flip the board here, is if black takes it either way here, I believe queen trade. Okay, so he decides to, yeah, so you either lose the center pawn or you lose the ability to castle for black, which is why white is winning. And Aaron decides to sacrifice his ability to castle instead of the pawn in the center. And I guess since he's no longer castling, he can play f6. Generally, you never want to play f6 because f6 and f2 are very weak squares on both sides, especially when you castle king side. But since he's no longer probably going to be castling, I think it's okay. Delu trying to get the early pin. And then Aaron's trying to get the counter pin here. Trying to take a pawn advantage. I think king e7 is totally fine here. Maybe not king e7 because that blocks the knight's only pathway. But the issue with king d7 is that it still encompasses the pin, which is why it probably isn't as obvious. And I think the reason why it's winning for white, or not winning, but like still ahead for white here, is because this knight is not able to move at the current moment. The problem with the f6, even though you're strengthening your center position, is now you're blocking a very crucial square for that knight. And if this knight can't move, the rooks can't be connected, and now they have really no play together. This rook will literally stay between these two squares until this knight can move. And this knight can't move until either f5 is played or the king moves off of this square. A6 is probably logical. He decides to take the bishop.
Bijou?
I think rook d8. It's still a little bit iffy here because now you're putting your rook on a very defensive only square. And for some reason this is very much winning for white.
Chalush.
Maybe you could stack, but I'm not quite sure. I don't think this is an immediate tactic. I think it's a 2-move. Maybe stacking there. I think maybe stacking to d3 instead and potentially swinging this over. Because now the knight comes in and it blocks off this rook from these rooks from accessing the file. Although c3 works. Depends upon c3 is coming, so the knight is gonna have to come back. Yeah, this is chaos. You're gonna lose something at this point. The knight is now free to open up and connect the rooks, which is okay. It's improving the position from what it was currently. If Aaron wants to play really aggressive, he can play b5, and after the bishop has to drop all the way back to f1 in order to preserve. Or it can even go even more forward, but I think that runs into issues. Even after solidifying, you can trade the bishop out. I think Aaron is debating on whether or not to take this pawn. It's an interesting concept. If takes after takes, I think he gets the tempo. Okay, he decides not to take it immediately. Right. And now after the knight comes back, this pawn is super stacked against. And now the king and the rook, everything in the center for black here is exceptionally weakened. We've seen both players play pretty amazing games so far. I think you can just take here. Takes back, you take one more, and if he's just taking a pawn, then you take knight with check as well. So I think this is simply losing. Right, takes. He has to take back in order to keep up with material. And he decides to take the pawn instead. We've seen two interesting moves like that so far. One yesterday when it was the knight h3 game and he didn't take back as a fear of double pawning. And now here when he doesn't take the bishop. It's a questionable sacrifice. Sacrifices have to have purpose, and in this purpose, you're just doubling your pawns, you're weakening the center, which is where your king currently is, and you're just simply down material. And now Delu seems to let him gain some of that back. Although he is still severely winning, there are potential issues. This knight is getting really aggressive and might get trapped soon. He really shouldn't trade. He's down, and this actually opens up an attack. Huh. Well, actually, what happens if this attacks with the bishop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a free pawn.
He's giving away the free pawn in an attempt to get his king to safety, maybe. Although, at this point in the game, it's almost endgame. Once one of the rooks is off, I would call this, what we're currently in is a mid-late game, or late-mid game. Jesus. And once one rook is off, we can officially go into endgame, at which point you really want to keep your king in the center. The F file is pretty good, but unfortunately, there's no pawn here to help you out. Essentially, checks coming.
What's the response to the thing that you pointed out before? Knight b1.
Knight b1, I think you first check. Oh. Huh. In the knight b1 example, I feel like you could try and get some tempo back. I'm not quite sure what you would respond to it, because this bishop is hanging, in fact. Because after check, what you can do is I think you can... King is forced here. I think you can pin the knight. If king goes back even more, I think there's potential mating opportunities. We can go into the line. It looks like Aaron just sacked his knight for no apparent reason. I think b1 was an interesting opportunity to check out and see where that would have led, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Delu would have had counterplay. So what Aaron is trying to do here is he's trying to push down his pawns and potentially get a promotion, as this is probably the only way he'll get back into this game. He's now 4 points right now, 4 points in material. But the thing is, there's still a pawn here, and his bishops are like in such a good position to potentially just block these guys completely. His rooks are also not in tandem to synergize with them. We can even go check here. Check here, and the bishops like also start to attack in a similar pattern. This is an oh, okay. Takes. This is one of the reasons why you want to have, well, in this is an uneven endgame, but one of the reasons why you want to have a bishop versus a knight in the endgame is because their range is just so much bigger, especially in open endgames, than say a knight. Right? They can control so many more squares. Unlike a knight, which can also control a few more squares, and actually the max square amount of squares a knight can control is 8. The bishop can control so many more in so many different diagonals, which is why people like keeping the bishop pair. And Delu is one of these people. He loves keeping the bishop pair in his endgame. And I believe there might be some mating opportunities. Okay, it was definitely not D1. It looks like they're still mating. Check, potentially. Decides to take it and just simplify. That works as well. There's a mate in one opportunity. Bishop, yep, and that is checkmate. Delu is up 2-1 in this game.
Justin,
and they're going
what's
for
that Japanese girl?
They're going right
Yes.
into it. They're going right into
Just
the next
yes.
match. And again, we're getting King's Pawn. We need to see some variation. They're sticking with things that are familiar to them, but sometimes unfamiliarity is your friend. If your opponent doesn't know how to respond to a random opening that you decide to play, then you might still have the advantage, even if you don't know what you're doing either.
Justin, how are you changing like a drag queen?
Yes. I am.
We're seeing immediate trades. They're playing almost
Cool.
instantly as of the moment. Knight comes out to block. We've yet to see any games where they trade everything off immediately and we go straight into endgames. In fact, actually, none of the matches in this tournament have been like that. They've either all been sweeps or they've all been pretty sophisticated endgames. Delu is now 1 game away. If he wins this game, he will win the entire tournament.
And he will be crowned Café Latte
Chess
champion.
champion.
I decided to go with chess kingpin instead of champion.
What about chess pimp?
Yeah, sure.
Chess pimp.
Is that gonna be a prestige role?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can I be a chess hoe?
Maybe everyone that loses gets to be a chess hoe.
Okay, there we go. I like
Aaron's
that.
trying to
Everyone
attack the
that
bishop here.
participated but lost gets chess hoe.
Well, Aaron wants to get rid of the bishop in exchange for knights.
And
It
then
looks like
whoever
he can't
loses,
force it.
This last match will be championship hoe.
Okay, Alvin, I just unlocked the
Number
entire
one
map.
hoe.
Wait, never
Ooh,
mind. I have 1 spot left.
It's an
Wait,
interesting
really?
move. I
I'm
believe.
still trying to get Venti.
How many accounts have you made?
It's like 7th now.
How
Like
are
just
you
pushing,
still
forces the
doing
bishop
this?
back. The eval bar is going crazy over here. I don't know what's going on. Let's check in on the chat here from Enan. Let's see if Enan's
I've
been
played it
talking.
through- Adventure level 1 to 7 like 10 million times by
Owen,
now.
mic on,
Christ.
pog, kick W. So, Aaron could take here if he really wanted
Justin,
to.
that character is actually broken. It's
He
actually
could
insane.
castle and play
Who?
slow.
Which
The
one?
issue with castling
one
is
that
there's a lot of
Justin's playing
pressure
right
from
now?
Delu already on the king's
Let me
side.
join the stream.
and it's gonna be really hard to break. Oh, Delu offered a draw.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
trying
very
to say.
cheeky of him.
Ooh.
If Aaron even
Yeah.
accidentally clicks yes on the draw, he loses this
Try
2.5
OT.
to
OT's
1.5.
giga broken. What? What?
Yeah, it's so broken.
Pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. This is an
Literally
even
Zarya
trade.
OT that deals giga damage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Aaron does know what he has to do. He has to break open the center and then castle. I think takes here is totally fine. Takes the bishop as well. It's interesting.
That's the best character so far. Best character that's out so far.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure it is, Alvin.
Yeah, yippee
Oh, okay.
you Kaio, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever you say, Alvin. But
Sorry, I don't listen to Nuts Lover's words.
the only nuts over here is
Pawn
you.
takes.
No.
And
Knight takes
maybe
back.
Daniel.
I am talking to the one and only Nuts Love in the server.
Hey, if you think about it, you're like, oi mate, give me some chicken cheese, innit?
The knight outpost here actually has a lot of interesting squares to go to. If the trade does go through, he could take with bishop first, and then knight decides to take back. Knight decides to take. Okay, so he decides to take the knight. Takes with the h pawn here, opens up the file, and then potentially blocks any incoming attacks. So let's go for one more pawn before taking the knight here. And now Delu has the choice of either trading queens.
Oh,
Yep,
when you
he
access
gets trade queens here,
so much
and this is
climbing
pretty
in this
much a drawn
holy
game.
shit.
The issue is Aaron cannot get this to a draw. He has to win this game to continue the match. If he draws this, this is game over. And I'm pretty sure by queen trading, this is a very, very hard endgame to play with a knight and like two really, really underdeveloped rooks on both sides.
Whoop.
Pawn takes back,
Oh, he
knight
did
takes
it.
pawn, and now this is going to most likely end in a draw. With correct play, of course. Who knows? Maybe Delu will blunder, and we'll see a final match.
Chalush. Minnesota.
This knight is controlling a lot of very important squares for Delu. For example, if this knight wasn't here and let's say he hadn't played e5, this knight could come in and start attacking these rooks, or the rook and the king. The knight in the endgame has only really one purpose, and it should try to force or look for positions where there are these forks. Knight is protected, and I think Aaron sort of sees it. He's trying to pressure out the knight, but after blocks, this looks pretty much like a drawn position. If Delu decides to try and take the a3 pawn, king swings over, and this is not going to go anywhere.
Fish bro, gay? Yeah,
No.
I think.
It's an interesting move. Knight is preparing, either he's preparing d5, potentially to push the center, because he does have these two pawns in the center, and there's no pawns for Aaron here that can contest them.
Whoa, wee, wah.
Issue is that the king is close enough that he can defend any potential advance.
Whoa, wee, wah.
Actually, I feel like an advanced here, even if the rook wasn't on this file, might succumb to some huge blunders. The threat of a royal fork is pretty high.
Garrett.
Who's Ren and why is he gay?
Usability on it.
Wait, you playing Lee?
No.
Oh,
Blue
okay, I
pushed
got a
his d4.
4-star
Okay,
pocket
so he
watch.
wants to bring his knight to another outpost here. Aaron either has to play G3 immediately or not play anything on this side at all and play like purely defense. G3 is definitely the best move. Prevents this knight from incoming and doesn't allow the wait no G3 I'm stupid. G3 blunders the knight. And now knight f4 is inevitable, right? Rook d2 stacks the rooks.
Hashtag stacked.
And now the eval bar is saying this is winning, albeit slightly
Don't
for
you just do
Delu.
knight takes pawn on h3, and then you can take the and then you can take with the rook because he's
Oh, so Stokas has a very good move here.
Pogs the Stokas?
Dude, it's so easy. He should have just moved his pawn up to h4, pressuring that pawn. That way, then his pawn moves down, and you just move up. Oh, it was so...
h4 here.
No, like, instead of moving the pawn from g3 to g4, you move pawn to h4, and then that pawn takes, you take with your knight.
Wait, what?
And then you
on
take
this
with your
move,
knight.
he thinks h4,
You take
there,
with your
there,
knight.
takes knight, or it would take knight immediately.
And then what you're able to do is you're able to move your g pawn up to g4, and then you'll be guarded when the knight moves. Or inevitably moves.
Oh, I think I just missed a pretty good move, unfortunately.
I think he sees h3 afterwards. And now I think h4 is also potentially playable. Albeit very risky, and I think Aaron wants to play safe here. You can get a sense of how these players play, either really aggressively or really safe. And Aaron is one of these players who likes to play extremely safe, even when he knows he's winning. For example, in that game where he was winning, he played relatively conservative when he could have pretty much forced the queen trade and win that match even quicker. This pawn is very, very nasty. It essentially denies any offense from Aaron here, and offense is the only thing that's gonna get him a win and continue this series. Rook e1, I think, it has to be played at some point. Because now Delu stacks the rooks and tries to push this down. Although
I see what Aaron's gonna do. He's gonna, if Delu moves his pawn or his king, he's gonna move his king forward to c6. I think.
Right.
Because then you could, if he moves it to the right, you could then take with yeah.
If he moves it here, I think this loses a rook. This pawn is still very nasty. I think he has to move it back in order to guard the e2 square. e2 is just too dangerous right now. Issue is that with correct play, this is still a draw. And the thing is, correct play is more obvious here than it is in, say, other situations.
What's correct play?
Correct play isn't when both players play 100% accuracy with 100% accuracy. Then means, like they make the best moves, computer moves by both players. Then the game will end in a draw.
Oh, is
But
it to prevent hacking or cheating?
Huh?
No, no,
Just
it's
saying
a
if you
concept.
play perfectly, it's going to be a draw.
Oh.
Although, yeah, there are actually anti-cheats that chess.com uses to detect if like a 1300 suddenly starts playing like a grandmaster, making zero mistakes and making like computer moves that even Magnus Carlsen wouldn't see. Then like they'll detect that and like send it to staff for evaluation.
Yo, he has to move his knight to check. Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like unfortunately this might be a very, very uncomfortable situation. One mistake from either side here, I think, loses the match for them. Yeah, and that might be the mistake from Delu as the eval bar decides to go nuts. Although I don't quite see the move. Maybe it's bringing the knight out to this outpost. Oh, and then that just loses for...
Damn.
We went from winning to Aaron and now to losing. I think there might be... No, that doesn't work. I don't know what the move is quite. Oh, it's that. Right.
Well, why is it that?
I think the issue is takes, and his king is way more centralized.
No, there's a fork here. There's a fork here.
Oh.
Why would you take with your rook though?
Oh my gosh.
Why
there's
wouldn't
no
you
Nesama in this
take with
game.
your knight?
Because
Oh.
he's dumb.
Wait, because then
It doesn't matter. The fork goes through anyway.
Oh, and Aaron played valiantly.
The only difference
But-
is instead of having a rook here at the end game, he has a knight.
Yeah, the only difference would be
Either
it would
way,
still be a knight versus rook end game.
I see.
Let's go.
And that's a good
Oh my
game.
God.
Delu,
Dude, I just,
no,
forgot how to play
Chalush
chess.
is the grand
Dude, so
champion
bad.
of the Café
I don't
Latte
know,
chess
like, why I'm playing so
tournament.
terribly.
He's the pimp.
Congratulations, Delu. Well played to both players.
Good job, Blue.
Yeah, good job, Aaron. That was close.
No, I fucking played like shit.
Well played.
The number one hoe loses to the pimp.
What the fuck?
okay, now play
First
Richard.
place.
Should I play Richard someday now?
You play Enid. What?
Ah,
Let's go.
Enid. No, no, no,
Yeah,
not now. I
I'm
have
pretty
to
sure I
sleep
had multiple
soon.
winning positions there, right?
Well, actually, I'll
Yes.
Pretty
probably.
sure I did. Dude, like
Probably
I don't know. I just played so badly for some reason.
That's the other.
You played some pussy chess.
Yeah, actually, like I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. You need to play a little bit, or actually, what I notice is that you're a very passive player, even when you're like winning by a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to just take advantage of the initiative that some positions give you.
Dude, today and yesterday I just played so terribly. I guess gotta be more aggressive.
I think there was one move here at the very end that I think in this position right here, before you played
were
G3, you were winning, right? Let's go to the analysis.
G3.
No, G3 was the blunder, so move 36. 35 here. In this position, when king moves down, you're winning. Looks like after rook d2.
Yeah, rook d2 was the move I was scared of. I saw it coming.
Because now look at how the king is trapped, right?
Yeah.
Can't go here. Knight guards both of these squares. The only square that the king is coming to is the e5 square. And it looks like somehow the analysis is saying rook takes knight is forced. And I don't quite understand that.
We'll try rook e3, see what happens.
Rook e3.
Okay, and then what do we do?
Knight takes
Knight
e2.
takes. Oh yeah, done.
Oh, with check as well, and then you trade the... Oh, actually, no, you don't have to trade. With check, king e5. Why king e5? Why not king c6, keeping the rooks connected? King e5. Knight takes f4. G takes f4.
Problem here is I've lost
E-
all my initiative now. My past pawn was my only advantage.
Right. I want to go. What happens if? Oh, this is wait. No. Oh, this is check. D7. Rook takes. Rook takes. A5. H5.
Doesn't matter. Once again, I've lost the pass pawn, so my game is over. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Keck W. Oh well.
Yo.
Very okay. So we're gonna
Hello?
see. Are we gonna have not a ceremony, but like a prize thing?
Yeah, at
Are
Chess
we gonna
Kingpin, bro.
see Delu get his rank or
I
his
have Chess
role?
Kingpin. Let's go.
Chess
Easy.
Kingpin.
Let me
I'm
quick
debating
Number
on
one
making
hoe is gonna be Suicidal Retarded's rank.
Aaron. And
So,
then
Sure.
that is
Number
a
one.
That is not
Very-
it. That is not it.
is that Chris?
Oh yeah, what's up?
Hello.
all right. So we get to see here on the Discord server, Delu has been
Number one.
given the role of king or chess kingpin. It's under prestige roles. Is there a description if I click on it or something?
No,
Yeah,
there's.
number one hoe yet?
I think Ed might do the last announcement. I asked him if he wanted to do it, so we'll see.
I don't work for
Edifer.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Is everyone else who
Thundermog 20
participated
DBQ.
getting chess hoe or something?
I'm debating it. We'll see.
Chess bros or
Yeah.
chess hoes?
Or
No,
I'll
chess
just
hoe,
I'll
chess
just
hoe.
change the
Chess
chess
hoe.
roll to chess hoe.
All right, and that concludes today's final match, hosted on the Cafe Latte live
Ed
stream
looks
lounge.
like 20.
I think everyone
Hello?
should, even though he's not here, I think he's feeling a little bit sick right now due to the smoke.
who's
But
winning?
everyone should go
It's
and
literally
like thank
over.
Ed
Oh.
for organizing this
Yeah,
at
thanks, Ed.
whenever you
Wait, who
whenever
won?
you guys get the chance. Delu won.
Oh, damn.
And we
Is
get
that
to
comeback?
it was
No, it
3-1.
was pretty clean swept.
No, I mean, like, was he losers bracket? I think he...
Yes.
Oh, damn. So it is a comeback.
He went down. Wait, let me rechange the screen.
We have 2 seconds till the round starts, but I guess I'll hear it.
Oh well, I don't know why I can't change the
Alright.
windows.
I'm out. I need to rejoin the call for comms.
Yep. And yeah, that's it. Delu, winner, going into the losers bracket, coming back very strong and taking it all. It's a true championship story. And
Championship story.
Hogger
Wow, Richard really
championship
got that announcer's
story.
vibe, huh?
Poggers.
yeah, that's gonna be it.
Oh, I drowned.
The
I
Poggers
freaking drowned.
championship.
I want to play Enon now.
Shark, Pog.
Change the window back
Does
to
someone have the Shark Pog available?
Hey Enon, let's play a
Can you
game.
post online?
Pog.
What the fuck? I suck at chess. Hello. I don't care. Let's go.
You are final
Yeah,
boss.
Enan's
Eamon.
some mega buns. He's literally.
Yeah,
Asian.
Enan final boss.
Enon, what's your username? I feel like I played you at some point. Oh, right. Are you Doritos Chips Debated?
He is. That's definitely him. That's definitely him.
I'm
That's a
pretty
really
sure
good
that's
name.
him. I'm pretty sure
But why?
Doritos Chips Debated is him.
Is Alvin here?
Enon, get on. I wanna.
What? I am.
Let's go for a
Alvin.
big blowout.
What?
Let's try out the ghost game.
No, I need to get venti.
Oh my god, alright.
Alvin, you're not going to get it.
No, I'm getting venti. I'm getting venti.
You're
Are
not.
we gonna try ghost game tonight or not at all?
Wait, what is Ghost?
Maybe. We can try
Phantasmagoria.
it later when I get venti.
Shut
Not
the
what
fuck up, you're not
Enon! Enon-san!
Don't play
on.
a gotcha game and expect to win.
Oh no, I can't
I'm-
hear.
Okay, I
No,
skipped it.
why'd
You're
you
welcome.
skip it?
Dennis, the reason Chiefs
No.
debated is not currently in live chat.
No, oh my
Why,
god.
don't skip it this time. No.
Oh, there we go.
No, stop
There we
queuing
go.
it.
I'll resend it.
To listen, it's important. It's the
It's
victory.
not
music.
important. Shut up. It's too loud.
It's
Delu's not even.
extremely-
Delu's
just
not
turn
even
it down.
here.
Hey, I'm gonna deafen, but that's not like anyone else. Help someone help Ian.
What? Oh.
Dude,
Why? Stop skipping it.
Shut the fuck up,
Stop
Aaron.
playing
It's a
it.
song, just let me play it.
No.
Why not?
What do you mean?
It's
Why
a good
not?
song.
ching chong chong ching chong chong.
Chiri-doo.
Exactly.
Okay, you're ghosting a little bit.
Alvin, rank up to 16 so we can play together.
Daniel, not Daniel, Max. I told you. I need to get Venti.
just use him in the trial thing.
No.
I grinded level 16 so we could play, and now you're just doing this. Okay, Justin, grind 16 so we can play.
Yeah, Justin, grind 16 so we can play.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
And I need to get Venti.
Okay, I'm gonna get Venti first try.
Nope, you won't.
I will.
I'm getting into.
Ching chong chong.
Dun, dun, da, 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 da.
Why am I stuck?
Peepo poo.
What the fuck? Dude, don't play a gotcha game expecting to get who you want. Like, you're fucking retarded.
This is refined.
Yeah, Alvin, what are you doing?
No, I'm doing it.
Stop. Is he Max? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's just making new characters and like constantly trying to roll
He's
one
making
guy.
new accounts, and he
gems.
keeps doing the gacha that has a
Hello?
0.6% chance to
Hello?
get the character he
Alvin?
wants.
Stop doing that. Justin, we can hear you by the way. What is it?
What do I do with Primo gems?
Oh, you can use them to make the wishes.
Primo gems.
You
What
can
do I
use them to.
do?
Justin,
Not,
unmute.
you're not here, Max?
Tell Justin.
Yeah,
to
you can
unmute
use
me.
them to do the gacha.
Tell Justin to unmute me.
Max is
Max
telling me
is
to
unmuted.
unmute.
Oh, I can't hear him. He's not.
It's
muted.
bugged, probably. You just have
Just
to rejoin.
leave and rejoin.
Yeah, Justin, you can use the Primo gems
He
to
le-
make the. Wait, is he? He's here.
Oh no,
right?
he's here still.
He
He's still
rejoined.
here.
Yeah, you can use the Primo gems to make wishes, so you can get more gacha rolls.
Yeah, more gacha.
Can I reverse it?
Alvin, stop. Just play the fucking game. You're not getting
and
what you
Alvin
want.
keeps making new accounts, so we
You
can.
aren't getting that.
No,
fucking
I'm doing
game.
it. I'm just gonna prove all you guys wrong.
It'll be complete luck if you get it within the next 2 days.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course.
I mean,
That's what
it
gacha
is
games
always
are.
luck.
Yeah, so don't say you're gonna prove shit to us, because no, you're just
Wait,
gonna
how do I
get
change
your
it into the
grace of
okay.
God for a minute.
Okay, burp.
Wait, how do I change? Wait, what? What do I do here? Wait.
Yeah, you're not getting it.
No,
What do
I'm
I
getting it.
do? How do I change the primo gems into the wishes?
You just buy the gacha. It'll automatically do it.
I
Like
see.
statistically, bro, you're not getting it.
I can't get.
No, I'm getting it.
No, you aren't.
604.
Yeah, yeah,
No, you aren't.
yeah, yeah. Sorry,
No,
but I
you're
am.
not.
Yep. Yep.
No, you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
Ching chong chong ching chong chong.
Where's the waypoint?
Cock and balls.
Oh shit! I took the cooking quest and never gave her the.
Fuck her.
Yeah.
주고 거기 같이 간 칭정위와 콜레
Where's the
거기 세과
waypoint, man? Hitarashai.
칭정와 떠웨가 칭정 꽝꽝. 아 칭정 와괴 코시그지 코야 하마. 내가 황아. 칭정 people.
What the fuck are you muttering about? I was wondering how many times he was gonna say that to no response.
Wait, say what? Oh, the 칭정 people? 시고 거에 티스키우 거이데 거기 거 칭정 위호. Buck, I'm a chicken.
Wait, I can buy myself in the shop.
Buck, I'm a chicken.
Okay. I'm getting a bunch of free shit. Okay.
It's mate in one, so I'm undeafening.
You lost to Enon?
No, I have mate in one.
Enon has mate in one?
No, okay.
Okay,
What
mate.
the
Wait, mate.
fuck,
How's it going, mate?
Enon?
Or I could take his queen and continue the game.
Try to clean him.
The only move he has is rook f6, bishop takes, and that's GG. But I can
Wasn't
try
it
and clean
razor?
him.
That's so
Yeah, I'll literally go for it. I'll clean
Yeah,
it.
clean him.
That's BM.
It ain't BM.
Alright, let's go
Oh,
for
my bad.
it.
It ain't BM.
I know for a fact because I'm the.
I don't like digital chess because I can't put my pieces like back on the board after I lose them.
How edgy is that? His name is Razor.
It's easier to cheat in.
It is easier to cheat in real
Oh
life.
wait, I have to make sure not to accidentally checkmate you.
Nigga, yeah.
Fuck.
What is this?
Wait, Daniel, do you play?
Play what?
Play this game.
Genshin?
Wait, what? He just like threw his.
I wanted to. I was the one that brought it up in the first place, but I can't. I literally can't because my internet filter.
Wait, internet filter? What?
It's retarded. It doesn't let me download the game, and I can't figure out how to turn it off.
It's retarded.
What do you mean, hurry up?
Items from the freaking. I have a big old sword, but I didn't get any cute girls. So tell me who's really winning here.
Can you move yourself in the checkmate, or does it not let you?
Well, if you were trying to move, like, yeah, it doesn't let you.
Burp.
It should let you.
How do I put my king in front of the pawn? I'm blocking the file, Enid. I'm gonna checkmate him with knights. Alright, I'm sacking the queen. Give me some knights here, boys.
That was a lot of pre-moves.
Should I get like I get like 7 knights?
That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, it's kind of hard because it's so easy to draw him with knights. Oh, I forgot it was my move. Without that time, I still had like 5:15 on the clock.
No, you gave you those 5 minutes. You needed it.
Oh wait, I think you could do odds games where like I have 30 seconds versus like 10 minutes. Okay, let's go here. Check. And then let's keep making knights. I might draw this just because this is kind of AIDS. Ah, no! Keck W, dude. Ah, it was.
You should say he wasn't a good sport.
Damn, you're so bad.
Fuck.
I don't think Doritos Chip Debated was a good sport this match.
If he had been, oh wait, I had temp. I had mate too. Actually, I just need to move king here. The only square he has is that, and if he goes back, that's mate. Fuck. Shit. Damn it. I drew. No! Okay, I'm gonna go play Overwatch.
Have fun.
Send me the. I'm assuming you recorded the thing, Enan, right? Yeah. Ed sent me the link last night. 0 missed wins. We take those.
He's just too good.
Keck W. Enan's actually a hitting grandmaster, I swear. He has the potential. He just doesn't want to.
Alright, how good would you be if you had a bot that plays the second best move every time?
Second best.
Best move.
Like, not the
Second
best.
best?
Only the second best move.
How good a.
What happens when
second-
there's one move?
Well, it has. Then I guess it would be forced to play that move.
No, it just wouldn't. It would resign.
It just resign.
Even if it's for mate, like there's just one